ladies, and welcome to Chris Garcia, the Conservative American. And with me today is my friend Tim Petarra, and we're going to cover a variety of issues today on the show. Tim, how are you doing today, brother? Good to have you on. Good to have you on. So let's start. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. First and foremost, I was kind of mentioning this as all the troops welcome home. Veteran transition is a major thing for me. That's something that really affected my life. I think it's an issue, politically speaking, nobody addresses. And I'm on a panel for several organizations that we interview people, politicians. I always ask them what's the number one issue facing the veteran community, and they always stare at me and give me some kind of generic answer like, well, it's veteran homeless, it's jobs, suicide, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't want your talking points. I want you to tell me what's going to solve the problem. Right. And I think if more people understood that veteran transition is the number one cause of all these problems, you wouldn't have such a high suicide rate or a high opioid rate or what have you if you had transition being addressed by our VA and our military.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, that's something that's near and dear to my wife's heart. That's something she's been talking about for years, starting a nonprofit for our vets, man. It's a shame the way we treat them when they come back. They put their lives on the line for us, man. We're able to do these shows and be free because it's people that are the real heroes to suit up and go out there and keep us safe all over the world. And when they come back, it's a shame the way we treat them. We treat them less than like they're human beings, man. I just think it's disgusting. I really agree.
What kind of gets on my nerves is Las Vegas is huge for nonprofits. There's like more nonprofits than businesses. It's ridiculous, right? But there's like so little help.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what gets me upset is you have small nonprofits, mom and pop, put my own paycheck in my own organization, trying to do good, and they get the short of the staff. And you go to organizations that aren't actually reaching anybody because they're just kind of spinning their money.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like a side racket.
Yes.
It's very stressful. You're like, what can we do to solve problems? I mean, if you look at the statistics, homeless veterans, there's not that many in America. If you look at, versus regular homeless veterans. And I honestly firmly believe that we're working more dead than alive. If the government wanted to solve veteran homelessness, they could do it in easily 6 months. I'm giving them 6 months to drag their feet and feed the government. I think you could do it in a matter of a month if you really wanted to. And we have all these military bases domestically, that we're still paying on. The light, the water, sewage is a guard posted usually. We're still paying on these places like Fort Monroe, Fort Ord, stuff like that. And they're just there collecting dust. I mean, when Clinton came by and he closed down all these military bases, a lot of these bases in the middle of nowhere are just hanging out. Why can't we use those as real veteran transition centers, not these fake ones that are just like, oh, they come on in, sing some kumbaya, light some incense, take a flyer, come to a meeting, get some cookies. No. We need an actual safety net for our homeless veterans. And I would argue you can use the same model for homeless in general and have an actual safety net, not this, let's throw money at the problem. I think you can do it cheaper, neater, and cleaner. You can use Army Corps engineers in the cities. You're already paying them. You can get supplies donated by Home Depot and stuff, different firms. I guarantee you, if you did it correctly, offering tax incentives, you could solve that and build up these facilities that have the medical, commissary, administrative, all that. You could easily solve homelessness in this country. And I'll even give them 3 years. I mean, shoot, let's just say 3 years. You could solve it easily with less money than what you're wasting now. The VA in 2014 spent a little over $300 million to solve veteran homelessness. It did nothing. That's about the cost of Obamacare, the website. It is ridiculous. The money, the funds they're throwing to this problem because they don't want to solve it. Because then they got to pay, back pay, disability compensation, got to hire more doctors, you got to take care of the vets that are homeless that you didn't know existed, now they exist. You got to take care of them now, and that's the problem. The government doesn't want to do it. It's not cost effective, which I think is bull.
Wow. Incredible.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it is. It really is, man. And just, like you said, I mean, it's so many organizations and nonprofits out here. There's so much money going around. I've always wondered, well, how come nothing's getting done?
Right.
Where's the money going?
I'm in the middle of getting my nonprofit status right now. And the only reason I'm actually going through the legal loopholes you have to go through to even get your tax status is because I want to break a number. And but what I do for mine, it doesn't even require a lot of money. I did it by myself, just tossing my own gas money in there and helping people out. And a lot of the activists that I know, that actually help veterans, they don't even, they're not certified VSOs. They don't work for BMW, Legion, no one. They just, hit my cell phone. You need somebody, call me. Call me 2 in the morning, you want to talk. If you know a homeless guy, I'll go buy him lunch. Let's all pull our money together, buy a guy a hotel room for a night. Whatever. The people I work with are just the people who are on the ground doing what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. And that is what I think we need more of, is the people who are doing things, less the people who are saying things. Because you go to all these dinner, fundraiser plates, whatever, and they're talking real good, and they look really nice, and the brochures are real cool and crisp, but they don't do anything.
That's right.
And that's what frustrates me, is you are not effective in this scenario. Why are you a thing? It's almost easier. You could just, hey, I know a guy. Here's his card, or here's your cell phone number. It's almost at the point where it's all word of mouth. Mm-hmm. You're doing more by that than by, oh, hey, I know an organization. We got this person. They got a brick and mortar over here. All this other jazz. So that's kind of what frustrates me on that end.
Wow. What other topics do you want to talk about, Tim? What else is going on?
So the elections just happened. Full disclosure, I'm a Republican. I was pretty happy about the outcome. Bob Beers lost. I was kind of upset about that.
I've had him on my show a couple of times. He's a good man.
I think he's a good man.
He is a good man.
I mean, I'm not really super thrilled with people being in office a long time or jumping the corporate ladder, as I say. That kind of gets on my nerves, but the man hasn't done nothing to upset me or show any kind of cronyism. So I kind of let it slide. I can tolerate that. It is politics after all. I got to be something realistic.
Right.
But looking at 2018, which I plan to run in, that's what I'm looking at, is all these people jumping that ladder. I have a city councilman now, I'm going to be a congressman, and they want another pension. They want to do all this, and that's what bothers me. People who are running for their 7th time to elected office, it's like, all you people need to go away. You're all part of the problem. If you're a bad candidate, you're a bad candidate. I don't care if your name's known, you've got all kinds of money, you're still a bad candidate. Mm-hmm. Jeb Bush in the primary had $100 million in the bank. $100 million, and he was a Bush. And he still got destroyed. That's right. Because he's a bad candidate. That's right. I don't care how much money you have. You just suck at your job. If your job is to be a candidate, you're not good at that. Please clap. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous how dumb he was. Right. And I'm looking at 2018. I'm working with the young Republicans, the millennials, the college Republicans, because I am one of them, and I look at it like we need fresh ideas. We need to showcase our modern perspective and our diversity if our party's going to survive, because the millennials are the biggest voting bloc right now in America. Yeah. And when you talk to establishment Republicans, they look at you like you're crazy. They're like, well, why do you talk to them? They're all a bunch of dumb kids. I don't get it. It's like, well, that's why you lose elections. That's why Nevada is blue. If you don't think it's blue, you're crap. Yeah. It's blue. Yeah. We got destroyed in 2016 because we had bad candidates. My former congressman in the district I'm running, Crescent Hardy, he's a horrible candidate. Whoever told him it was a good idea to bash Trump on national television was an idiot. That guy should be beat with a pipe. I don't care who your candidate is for president. In a presidential election, you support your nominee.
That's right.
I don't care who it is.
They all got behind Hillary Clinton. She was the worst candidate in history.
Yeah.
They all got behind her.
I mean, seriously, what's your other option? Let's just be realistic. I don't care if it's Joseph Stalin. Whoever your presidential candidate is, that's right. What's your other option? To back the other person? Does that make sense? No. That is illogical and impractical. Right. So I would think, for example, someone was like, well, Donald Trump did this, and this, how do you support him, whatever, right? I mean, just off the top of my head, a simple response would be like, you know what? I'm not running for president. I'm running for Congress. Here's what I'm going to do for you. That's right. Just steer it back to you, because you're running for yourself, but you do need those voters to come with you too. It's called a straight line ticket. It's easy math. And people like Chris and Hardy couldn't understand that. They couldn't figure it out. Joe Heck got destroyed too. And it's, it's a combination of bad candidates and our party not being functional. And I think our party has all the right ideas, but we are really bad at messaging, marketing, and branding.
Absolutely.
We need to showcase our diversity and our modern perspective. We have just as many minorities, homosexuals, you name it, in our party as the Democrats do. It's pretty much 50-50, more or less 50-50. Women, whatever. We're pretty even as far as the whole Rainbow Coalition thing going on. We just suck at promoting it. I gave a speech over at a Trump 100 event, and I said, look, here's the reality of the facts. In the next 2-3 cycles, you're going to see a lot more candidates looking like me and less like you. And if you do not realize this, we're going to lose elections because Hispanics are rising up, in our population. With the grasp that new demographic. We have young people, millennials running for office. They're coming up. Look at what's his face, Ossoff or whatever in Georgia. That guy was an idiot. He made millennials look stupid. But think how much money he got just by being that fresh new Democratic face, because they have no future leaders in their party. Yeah. They are struggling for like Elizabeth Warren to run in 2020. They're just struggling to be relevant. And if we don't learn from that, we're not going to be relevant either.
But see, this is the one thing I have to say, and I say this to people. I think that that's what Democrats want us to believe. And I think that we will never beat them at their game, because you're right. A lot of people always say, well, there are no good Republican candidates. It's because Republicans, we're not going to stand up there and lie to you. They don't believe in immigration. They don't believe in open borders. And Donald Trump's not going to stand up there and lie to you just to get your vote. Right. And I think that there are enough Americans like myself, like yourself. I like the truth. Yeah. I don't want you to tell me what I want to hear. I want you to tell me what you really think. Yeah. And I don't agree with everything. Donald Trump, I voted for him. My wife voted for him. Everybody in here voted for him. I don't agree with everything he says, but you know what? I agree with the fact that he speaks his mind. Whatever that is, I even respect that about Barack Obama, who I think was the worst president ever in history. Yeah. But at least he was crazy enough to believe what he said. When he said he believed in Obamacare, he went all the way. He actually believed in it, even though it's the worst socialist program ever. He believed in it. That's how he sold it, because he believed in it. And I don't believe in open borders. I don't believe in a lot of things. I'm a Christian, and I don't listen. My job is not to judge people. Your lifestyle is your lifestyle. I don't believe in your lifestyle. I don't agree in a lot of lifestyles. I'm old school traditional. I'm a Christian, but to each his own, because I'm not God. I think everybody has to answer to the Creator one day. Right. But to me, they wanted me to run for office, I would not run for office and tell you what you want to hear. I would run for office and tell you what I really believe in, and hope that you respect me enough. I can get your vote that way. But I'm not going to tell you. I think that that's the problem. We don't have. They're better politicians than us. Right. It's tough to beat the Clintons as a politician. Right. They are the best at telling you whatever it is they can change with the wind. One minute they're against abortion, the next minute they're for abortion. They can change. And Donald Trump, he was so refreshing, because whatever he thought, as far as making America great again, as far as securing our borders, as far as keeping American companies here, he said it. Yeah. And it's about time that somebody stand up and speak up for us, because if we just give everything away, there's not going to be an America left. Right. Seriously, man. I mean, look at how many companies he stopped from leaving in the 2 months after he won the election. You want to know why Ford and why Carrier and all those companies was trying to get the hell out of here? They were trying to leave before he took office. Right. And the Democrats are mad at him because the night he won, he started working. Right. That's why they're really upset, because he showed Barack Obama up. Right. He said, look at all of these companies that are trying to leave. And he got on national TV and said, I kept Carrier from going to Mexico City. I kept Ford from starting that plant in Mexico. It was showing Obama up, because Obama was letting all those companies and all those jobs leave. They got mad at him for that. And he was working with the Russians to fight against terrorism. He started working like that. And diplomatically, you're supposed to wait until you take office, and then start having those back channel negotiations. He started doing it the night in fact, before he won the election. He had Jeff Sessions and General Flynn and those people talking to the Russians, because we're going to need them. Right. See, Barack Obama didn't like them because they wouldn't play ball with us. They wouldn't pay them. Right. So we put sanctions against them. Right. And that's why the KGB is the second biggest organization behind the CIA. We have got to work with them to defeat these radical terrorists all around the world. And because they wouldn't play ball with the Clintons, they wouldn't donate to the Clinton Foundation, we cut Russia off and said they're bad people. That's not true. We already can't trust China. Everybody knows that. We need Russia to defeat these terrorists. We need the KGB. We need those boots on the ground to defeat. I'm sorry I went off on that, but I just believe that you're absolutely right when you said that we don't have the candidates. And it's a shame. It's a shame that we don't have the candidates, because Donald Trump, it won't be another Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, you can't replicate
No.
that kind of outside the box thinking. I mean, as much as I joke around saying I'm outside the box, everyone really is their own kind of candidate.
Yeah.
And I think what's important to realize is, this is like sacrilegious for Republicans to say, but no one's going to be the next Reagan. There's no other,
That's right.
There's no other another Reagan.
That's right.
You know, Reagan's gone. Good guy, do it for the Gipper or whatever.
That's right.
But he's gone. I was born 1988. I was born when he was leading. So to tell me, oh, Reagan did this, right? Good for you. I don't care.
Yeah.
Reagan was what we needed for the Cold War to fight the enemy.
That's right.
It's done. We are in the global war on terror, whether you
That's right.
call it that or not, Barack Obama. We still are.
That's right.
And Trump is the kind of person who needs the global war on terror. Every leader must rise to the aspirations in which the time he finds himself in. And I think that is what we need as a party to get away from this. Well, you're not very Reagan-esque. You know what? That learn from history so you don't repeat it, but don't try to repeat it on purpose to try and duplicate it. It doesn't come out right.
Yeah.
Everyone who tries to say they're the next Reagan, they're full of crap. You know, and we need to move away from that. We need to showcase our diversity and our modern perspective and move with the times. Arguing over gay marriage doesn't make any sense to me. I'm a Protestant. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's very logical or anything.
That's right.
But it's a stupid argument to have politically. You know, I don't. You know, my job is not to save your soul. My job isn't to sit there and bless you and make sure you're baptized. I'll pray for you all day long. My job is to be the example in which you can emulate. And everyone fails at that, but we got to keep trying. And that's my personal
That's
thing.
right.
I think having the argument of, well, my God doesn't like that, therefore it's bad, is a stupid argument. I don't care what it is, drugs, whatever, prostitution, any moral argument. It's a stupid argument. Because if you're arguing against someone who doesn't hold the same beliefs as you, they're going to say, well, good for you, you're God's spaghetti monster. I don't care. But if I told you, well, why is the federal government getting involved in marriage when it's a state licensing thing, it's a states' rights issue, and talk about states' rights, then I have an argument that you can't really refute. Because if you're going to say the federal government can say, yeah, you're nay for everything, then you're basically giving the middle finger to the states. And if my marriage license qualifies in all 50 states, why doesn't my gun license qualify in all 50 states?
That's right.
That's a legal argument versus my God says it's wrong. It's a stupid argument. We do it every freaking election. We argue over stupid things like abortion. Oh, it's murder. I agree with you. And I don't think it's right. But let's talk about our population index going down. Let's talk about our future, our children, you know, statistically speaking, the dramatic part that goes with it, all that. Let's talk about that linked to abortion and how it's less than 1% in the cases of rape and incest.
Yes.
Let's talk about those. But you don't want to talk about those because it makes Democrats look stupid.
That's right.
The only problem is that Republicans are smart enough to actually say those arguments. You know, that's what gets on my nerves. It's we have the ideological perspective on our side.
Yeah.
Our side works. It's proven math.
Yeah.
Our tax cuts, our economics, everything works on our side. We just have crappy candidates. You have people who are buying primaries. Look at every single primary there is. You got that one dude who used to be something who has a bunch of money in the bank for special interests. He's going to buy the primary. And you're going to pass over the grassroots guy who actually cares about the job. He's not trying to be a senator one day or a governor or a president.
That's right.
That gets on my last nerve. People who are climbing that corporate ladder just to collect a paycheck. I'm not doing this because I want to be a freaking congressman and sit back and sit on my butt. I'm doing it because it needs to be done. My veteran brothers and sisters are dying on the freaking streets.
That's right.
You know, the animals are being slaughtered. You know, up in Reno, the horses are being slaughtered. I mean, the BLM's taking our land. There's serious problems within our state and our federal government. My generation's getting the shaft in spending. We're paying the Social Security we're never going to see. You know, so many issues that you need that fresh perspective on. And you get these politicians who are like, oh yeah, I'm going to run the primary, sure. I got $1 million from so-and-so and so-and-so, and I'm just going to kind of skate on by because my name's famous. That gets on my last nerve. You're part of the problem, not the solution.
That's right.
You need to step aside and let real people who have real solutions step up.
That's right.
That's what a party needs. That's what politics needs. I think, you know, Bernie Sanders and Trump, love them or hate them, whatever side you're on, doesn't matter. I think the one thing they did that was positive for politics was they changed the game.
Oh, yeah.
Politics is new. It's a fresh perspective. And if you're still playing like our party is, where it's pre-Trump, you're going to lose elections. It's a new America. It's a new political spectrum. And I think both of them brought something new to the table where they were both bringing that fresh. They really believed what they said. Bernie Sanders is an idiot. He doesn't understand economics. But I do believe he believed the stuff coming out of his mouth. I think he sincerely believed the 1% was raping everybody and all the stuff he talked about.
Yeah.
I think he really believed that.
Yeah.
You know, he's wrong, but I think he really did believe it. And you know, Clinton, she doesn't have any beliefs, I don't think. I really think she just kind of goes with the flow. And that's the difference between Democrats. You have the Kool-Aid drinkers, true believers, and you have those who are just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem that with liberal ideology is it's really non-consistent and it's really not really practical on a logical sense. If you get the theory of liberalism and you say, hey, how does this work? And you put it on the table, it never pans out. The ends don't ever justify the means. But you get conservatism and even a little bit of libertarianism to some point. It does pan out. More money in your pocket, the less less money the government's spending, the better the economy is. I don't care what area you're looking at, that's how it works.
Yeah.
The person on the ground, the local person, is going to spend money better than the government ever could. And that's just logic.
That's right.
They don't understand that in political science. I don't get it. Really don't.
Yeah, I always talk about, when I introduce my show, and I always say conservative American. And to me, conservative stands for common sense. I mean, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I don't believe in all that nutball stuff.
Yeah.
But what I do believe in is that, and I do believe this, I think that everybody talks about New World Order conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It's a fact. And the fact is that you got people that sold our country out. It's been going on for decades. It didn't just start. It's been going on. It's not a conspiracy, because a conspiracy is somebody in a dark room coming up with a plan. They straight come out on TV and tell you we're going to send these. This is how dumb the American people got to me. I mean, Hillary Clinton, during this campaign, went to West Virginia and said the coal mining jobs are gone forever. And she expected to win that state. I mean, there's no conspiracy. Yeah. They straight are telling you, we're going to screw you. Your jobs are never coming back, and I need your vote. It's not a conspiracy. The New World Order has been forming for decades. And the simple fact of the matter is this. We are going to get paid as much as we possibly can. We're going to live good lives. Our children and grandchildren are going to live good lives, and we don't give a damn what happens to you. Right. That's not a conspiracy. They're telling you we're sending the jobs to Mexico to pay Mexicans $8 a day instead of paying you $8 an hour. There's no conspiracy in that. They're telling you that. Barack Obama came into office, like I said, I love the man. He's from the south side of Chicago like I am. He didn't lie to you. He said, I studied Marxism. I'm a socialist. These are going to be the programs. I'm going to take care of you from cradle to grave because I know what's best for you. The food stamps in this country doubled recipients from 50 million to 100 million. The debt doubled from 10 trillion to 20 trillion. It took us 80 years to build up $10 trillion in debt. He doubled it in 8 years. It's no conspiracy. He's telling you we're going to become Cuba. He visited Cuba. He's trying to have There's no conspiracy in this country. They are telling you where we're taking the United States of America. We have sold out. We're telling you your jobs are never coming back again. And I always tell people the jobs are gone. So does that mean we don't make coal anymore? So coal's gone. So there's no steel anymore? Or did you take those jobs and send them to China? So there is still being manufactured. Because what they tell you is it's gone. Those jobs don't exist. They do exist. They just don't exist here. And what Trump was saying, bring the jobs back. We still make coal. We still make steel. We still make air conditioners. We just are sick. And I just don't get it. You have the American, he's a racist. He's a national. I swear I've been talking about this the last 2 or 3 days. The threat to this country are those senators and those House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. That's the biggest threat. It's not Russia. It's not illegal immigration. It's those people sitting in Capitol Hill. That's the biggest threat to this country.
Russia can't even get its own aircraft.
No, Russia.
To function correctly, they have to have a tow barge follow
That's
them.
right.
Imagine that. An aircraft carrier and a tow barge to get to where it's going because it breaks down. It's a punishment in the Russian Navy to get stationed on an aircraft carrier. You think that country has a logistical capability to influence an American election? Realistically.
No.
I mean, that makes sense to you. And these people are like, well, Russia, look, I don't really like Russia. I think they should keep them in check. Yeah. I would call them a second world power. Yeah. Them in China, they are strong in their region. They're regional powers.
That's right.
We're a world power.
That's right.
And we should keep them in check and let them know their place in the world. However, besides them kind of getting a little too big for their britches, like in Crimea or Georgia, they're really not a military threat. Right. They can't feed their own freaking people.
That's right.
I'm not worried about them invading us in Red Dawn. I'm worried about people who are being in office for longer than I've been alive, and they're like, we're getting our food NAFTA. NAFTA's cool, and then by the time we're dealing with 20 plus million illegal immigrants, NAFTA, they're all dead or retired. They don't care. They're millionaires.
That's it. That's it.
And that doesn't make any sense. And to me, that's the real problem: is the government power structure. I'm a firm states' rights advocate, and full disclosure, I'm a nationalist.
Me too.
I'm more of a civic nationalist myself. I don't think ethnicity makes a lot of sense, but I think doing based on nationality over ethnicity makes sense to me.
Yes.
I don't care what color your skin is,
That's right.
where your family's from. You're an American, you're my brother and sister. I think it's important to put the country first, because if America does well, the world does well. I don't care where it is, what happens. Nuclear disaster in Japan, hurricane in Haiti, whatever it is. Do they call the UN? No. They didn't bother with the UN. They called it America.
That's right.
Our Marines are the first ones on the ground delivering food aid around the world. Now, that's a form of interventionism. I'm in favor of selective interventionism as long as it's an American goal is present. But let's just say a non-military version of food aid or stopping genocide, whatever. We can probably do the UN's job better than they could. Realistically, it's such a waste of money and time and logistics. I really do think if you base everything on a regional capacity, like you do NATO, and have regional partners take up their fair end of the burden,
right.
We could do more good around the world, because people call on America to help them in a jam. People are getting slaughtered in a village in Africa. Who do they call? The United States Marine Corps. They don't call the UN. They don't call the French. They don't call the Belgians. They call the U.S. We are a global force for good. In our short history, we've done more good twice over than the rest of the world combined. And if you want to put stat for stat, look at China, where one, they can't even help their own people, but two, they're slaughtering their own people, but three, they have military bases right now in Africa. Right now. Military bases overseas. China. Now, why? Can they really afford it? No. Do they have logistical capabilities? No. But they're gaining all them resources from Africa because we allowed them to.
That's right.
And that's the problem. Look at South China Sea, look at Crimea, look at Georgia. We allow these second-rate, B-rate players to influence the world, where that's our job. That's what we do.
Well, when you elect a president named Barack Hussein Obama, who was actually born in Kenya and is a Muslim, his father was as well, then of course he doesn't want the best for the United States of America. Of course, people really have lost their mind. This man did not have the best interest, and I'll tell you, Sean Hannity and O'Reilly was on that from the very beginning. This man did not have our best interests at heart. He went around the world apologizing for the United States behavior. He's still doing that. He was in Canada the other day apologizing for Donald Trump. It's amazing.
Here's the thing. With Trump, with Bush, even Papa Bush, even Nixon. I'll throw Nixon in there. I never had to worry where their allegiance was. I knew, even if they were flawed, they still were Americans. Right. They still thought this made sense.
That's right.
But Barack Obama, he was doing stuff that blatantly is anti-American. And you have to question, when you're commander-in-chief, and I served under Obama, you question your own commander-in-chief like, what the hell's he doing?
Yeah. When
you got to do that as a soldier, like, I don't understand how this makes any sense.
That's right.
That right there is sad. It's depressing because, for example, when I was in the military, they did the Don't Ask, Don't Tell. They overturned that. They started doing the illegal aliens in there, the transgenders. They started all this stuff when they went into combat. They did it all really quick. Just throw it in there. It'll work itself out. And the military is to make a joke here, it's kind of being gay. It's a lifestyle choice. You're changing your whole life to join the military.
That's right.
It is a whole different way of thinking and living and breathing.
That's right.
It is not a social experiment. There is not Republicans and Democrats in the army. There's not all this stuff. It is a lifestyle. I don't care if you're gay, straight, whatever, born, alien, don't care. When you are in uniform, you are in the military, you are a service member. And you adapt to the military, it doesn't adapt to you. And that's why I think my biggest thing about Barack Obama is he destroyed our capability of the military. When I was in, they asked us, we're going to overturn Don't Ask, Don't Tell. You could get out right now with an honorable discharge because you don't want to serve openly with homosexuals. Would you take it? And a majority of the service members said yes, they would leave because they could see the mess coming towards them. That is not good.
That's right.
I mean, in Korea, my grandfather fought in Korea. He told me when they integrated blacks and whites in the military, they asked the same thing: how many of you would leave? very little were like, yeah, I'll leave. They just said, you know what, it's fine. We'll deal with it. Because they understood it's the military, you adapt to it, it doesn't adapt to you.
Right.
And that's what I think is important to realize, historically speaking, is our military should always be the constant in our society. I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat, the White House, Congress, whatever. Your military should be your true north.
That's right. We're out of time for today's show. I want to thank Tim Petarra. Tim, will you come back on? I want you to be on my show. Man, I love this guy right here. I love people that have common sense. That's what this country has lost. We have gone 2 parts to the left, 2 parts to the right. And I've always believed really the reason that Donald Trump won is because he talked directly to common sense Midwestern. I'm from the Midwest, and you go to Michigan and Wisconsin. Those people just want you to shake their hand, look at them in the eye, and they want you to stand up for them. And they don't really even care if you can do it. Just try. Go to Washington and see if you can drain the swamp. See if you can do something for us. God bless America. God bless our troops, and Godspeed to Donald Trump. Tim Petarra is a patriot. He loves his country. So when he runs, I'm thinking about running too. We might have a whole new Republican class coming up in here and clean things out.
I always tell people it's a new Republican Party.
That's right.
And if you look at it, it's going to be great. I'm excited.
That's right.
I can't wait for 2018.
God bless you, Tim. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.